The views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of Paltalk.com, AVM Software, or its advertisers.
News Talk is online. News Talk Online, a production of Paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet with more than 4 million unique users on demand on iTunes and on YouTube and on my blog, GaryBaumgarten.com, where you're encouraged to post your comments, whether you agree with yours truly or not. No retribution. And thanks to our good friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio. We're syndicated across the United States to an additional 12 million households. I am your host, Gary Baumgarten. Welcome to the show. Well, I thought we were all talked out about North Korea, but apparently not, because now North Korea is threatening South Korea, threatening the South Korean fleet, and threatening the U.S. fleet. I'm going to read you this top of a dispatch from the Washington Post Foreign Service by Blaine Harden, Dateline Tokyo. North Korea vowed Wednesday to attack South Korea if its ships are searched as part of a U.S.-led effort to interdict vessels carrying missiles or weapons of mass destruction. It also declared that the truce that ended the Korean War was no longer valid. Those who provoke North Korea once will not be able to escape its unimaginable and merciless punishment, the North's official news agency said. The threat sparked a strong rebuke in Washington at a news conference. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton reaffirmed U.S. commitments to the defense of Japan and South Korea and said North Korea's belligerent actions will bring consequences, although she did not specify any. White House spokesman Robert Gibbs also said that North Korea's action is deepening its isolation and that the administration is looking to, quote, ensure that they are not moving material that could be used to produce a weapon of mass destruction, close quote. The North Korea threat, unusually broad and bellicose even by North Korean standards, came 3 days after the reclusive communist state was condemned by the international community, including longtime allies China and Russia, for testing a second nuclear device in violation of UN resolutions. Since Monday, the North also launched 5 short-range missiles into the sea off its eastern coast. Axis of evil, the previous president might say. The current government of the United States a little bit understated in its response to all of this. I don't know. You guys know that I'm kind of moving from pacifist to hawk a little bit when it comes to North Korea for a lot of reasons. And I really thought we'd move on to other subjects, and if you want to toss another issue at me, have at it. I'm happy to talk about whatever issue is on your individual or collective minds, but I got to tell you, this is serious business. Now, I know at this point it is all hyperbole, but God forbid they're stupid enough to attack South Korea, our fleet, or Japan. There's going to be hell to pay over there. And some of us are old enough to remember the Korean War. You know, it hasn't been totally resolved. It's a truce only all these years, by the way. Lelani in Hawaii. Lelani, welcome to News Talk Online on Paltalk.com.
Good afternoon, Gary, and thank you. You know, I've had this subject on my mind for some 12 years about North Korea. We know that North Korea is going into, what, the 3rd or 4th generation of raising their children at a very young age to hate America, hate Westerners. They're taught songs that talk about destroying America. Now, I look at this issue with North Korea as pacifying the unruly stepchild who won't behave. They seem to be using their methods as a way to hold America hostage so that they can get some type of funding, or they can get little gifts that America gives them time and time again. Many a times over, when America does subject to them, they are lied to. America's lied to. America is treated unfairly. And America is basically swindled by North Korea. Now, I've said this years ago, and I'm going to say it again. The United States needs to deal with them and deal with them harshly and do it now before it's too late. Don't wait till they got nuclear weapons to be able to strike Japan, South Korea, or the United States itself, or even Hawaii. Living in Hawaii, I know that there has been hype from the military here because of North Korea's wanting to increase their missile range, and so many of the missile defense systems around Hawaii have been I guess pushed up and elevated. I'm concerned, and I think that they should be dealt with, and they should be dealt with harshly. Don't take any more of their threats. Deal with it. That's the only way to handle North Korea at this point, to just deal with them.
Well, Eleni, I have to agree with you. I'm sick and tired of their threats. I'm more concerned about the fact that they promised to stand down on their nuclear weapons program. They blow up the cooling tower for the world to see in the hopes that we believe that they are doing what we've asked them to do, and then they go ahead and they blow up a nuclear bomb underground to show their nuclear prowess. So their word is not their bond, that's for sure. So you can't trust them. And as you say, there are generations now in the North who have been indoctrinated to hate the United States, hate the Japanese, hate the South. And even China's reached the end of its rope with regard to North Korea, although the last thing the Chinese want is a refugee problem. There already is a huge problem with North Korean orphans living on the streets of China, a story that goes very underreported, but it is a problem. Here's the one issue. On the one hand, Eleni, I would almost wish that they'd be stupid enough to do what they threatened to do, to provoke the United States into action. But as somebody pointed out in text, what do we need? Another multi-trillion-dollar war debt while we're busy fighting in Iraq and in Afghanistan and in a small portion of Pakistan, although not as much lately since the Pakistanis have taken the fight to the Taliban there. But still, our armed forces are spread fairly thin, and even if they weren't, it costs money to wage war, a lot of money to wage war, and President Obama over the Memorial Day weekend said in an interview on C-SPAN, quote, "We are out of money," close quote. And what are they going to do about that? Raise our taxes even more? And by the way, they are talking about a value-added tax now. The idea is just now sort of being floated in Washington. I am in favor of a federal sales tax, but one that would replace the income tax. I don't see them or hear them talking about replacing the income tax. So I don't know economically whether all this can be sustained. On the other hand, if you ramp up the military-industrial complex, maybe you create jobs. So maybe there's a net gain if you go to war. Maybe we need to get an economist in here to talk about that. But the bottom line is, while one